A new report by Microsoft is detailing a cyber campaign China is using to influence voters in the U.S. It says China is using artificial intelligence to automatically generate images meant to mimic people across the political spectrum. The report says these impersonators, many on social media, will, quote, demonstrate higher degrees of sophistication, actively sowing discord along racial, socioeconomic, and ideological lines. CBS News Intelligence and National Security reporter Olivia Gazis joins me now. Olivia, this is quite sobering to think about. First of all, what kind of AI imagery and content is being generated as part of this effort to stoke division even further?
Sure, Elaine. So these are images the likes of which you may have seen in memes on Facebook or Instagram. They usually have this sort of patriotic or dramatic, eye-catching quality to them, with usually a politically charged or catchy phrase or slogan spread across them. The difference here, according to Microsoft, is that these AI-generated images generally look better and more believable than some of the previous attempt by China and other countries to generate politically divisive content in the past. So they don't look like rinky-dink stock photos cobbled together in paint by a foreigner, but something more sophisticated and thereby more likely to be clicked on by authentic American users, which Microsoft has said is happening. These images aren't perfect. One of the ways that the researchers could tell AI was even involved was in one of them, an image of the Statue of Liberty had more than 5 fingers on her hand, which is kind of a common error that AI makes. But the point is that they're better and they're going to get better. And as they do, they may go more viral, which, intensifies the political divisions that exist just as the U.S. gets set to vote for its next president. The question remaining here is how widely China is going to deploy these efforts, if it does, in 2024.
So, Olivia, we talk about China. I mean, who exactly is doing this and why?
Sure. Well, Microsoft didn't offer ironclad attribution to a specific actor, but they did say that the campaign that they are noticing was reminiscent of prior work done by cyber actors within China's Ministry of Public Security, whose job, like other apparatuses, is to advance the government's interests and agenda. Now, obviously, influence campaigns are not new, and China is in the top tier of countries that wage them around the world, not just in the United States. But this kind of content is really a step beyond what we previously saw, for example, in the 2020 presidential election, where the Chinese didn't really engage in a significant way on social media. And again, to be fair, the intent behind this effort isn't entirely clear yet. Microsoft said it was likely that China is going to continue to hone this ability to create believable AI-generated content, but what's not clear is how or when it might deploy it at any kind of big scale.
What might the implications be here, Olivia, for the Biden administration at a time when we know tensions with China and the U.S. have been quite high?
It certainly doesn't help lower those tensions. And I think some of the thinking behind publicly calling out these preliminary efforts is to kind of sound an alarm and deter the Chinese government from taking them any further, much like the administration has done in the case of Ukraine and warning China publicly not to supply lethal aid to Russia, because sometimes public disclosures like those are meant to have a chilling effect on the behavior that they're targeting. Again, not knowing what the purpose here behind an influence campaign is supposed to serve is still an open question. So is it a testing ground for the Chinese for AI capabilities? Is it going to be to undermine a particular presidential bid, either Biden or Trump or somebody else? Or is it like the Russians have done for years? Is it just to sow chaos within the American electorate to weaken overall democratic processes here? All of those, I think, are possible scenarios at this point.
Right, and that was going to be my question, is how does this differ or does it not differ that much from the meddling that we saw from Russia in U.S. elections? And how big of a concern is this now for 2024?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it doesn't differ much as a technique, the sort of memes on social media, apart from the fact that, again, the quality and the believability of this imagery is improving thanks to the use of generative AI. But even when the Russians did this on a massive scale in 2016, people were ultimately left with a question as to how influential it really was, given how limited the authentic engagement was with the content that the Russians created, because some of it was really just poor and uninteresting, so they didn't click on it. But what this is illustrating is a new level of willingness on the part of China to engage in this space. In 2020, U.S. intelligence assessed specifically that China didn't seek to influence the federal election because it believed it had more to lose than to gain from being caught in the act of attempted meddling. And now it looks like that calculus in Beijing may be starting to change.
All right, Olivia Gazis in Washington. Really eye-opening to see this, especially as 2024 gets underway. Thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you, Elaine.